Hey, well, it's not morning. I didn't get to recording this in the morning, so it's like noon. It's almost noon. So good afternoon. Um, Les Paul today. I got my pedal board hooked up. It still sounds a little out of tune, but it was fine. That was just something I was practicing this morning. I just picked the chord and played some stuff through it, whatever sounded right. Might mess around with that later. See if I can turn it into some sort of backing track to play over or something. But that's it. Today, I wanted to talk about in-ear monitors. I guess specifically for guitar players, um, and everything that I've learned so far. I've been using them for, I don't know, somewhere between probably 5 to 7 years. Um, and I used the same set of in-ears for the first, until like a month ago, and then I finally switched. And when I first started using them, I bought the. I guess they weren't the cheapest you could buy at the time, but I thought they were like the best quality for the money. And there were these Shure in-ear monitors from Sweetwater that cost $99. They probably still cost $99. I don't think they've changed the design of those IEMs for some time. And I struggled over the years of like, should I go with custom? And then people who had custom are like, they're great, but they're expensive. Or should I go with like multiple drivers? So if you don't know, a driver is essentially a speaker. So the more speakers you have, theoretically, the more um, frequencies that you can get, rather than just having like essentially mono, just like one. Those Shure $99 ones have one speaker in each. So everything is kind of going through the one speaker. So I struggled uh, for several years, um, turning things down and messing with just having myself and everybody a little lower, trying with stereo mix, trying to remove like bass and singers that weren't singing and things like that, and just guitar and drums, just whatever I could do to get a clean mix that sounded good to my ears, because it would sound way different here than it did out there or at the amp. And I had to learn about miking an amp correctly and understanding that source is going to be different um, than what you would get in a room, right? Because it's right up to the cone. Um, well, just a little off the cone, but that sound at that microphone is different than what you would get in this room, and kind of come to terms with that. So I struggled for years and years and years and years, and then um, uh, probably a month ago, there's another YouTube channel, Tone Junkie. I think it's Tone Junkie TV is his channel name, and he had a podcast thing that I stumbled across, where I think it's called Guitar Friends. I'll put a link in, and and they were talking about in-ear monitors and this and that, and some people had custom ones. I think all these people were in Nashville. Some of them had custom ones. Some of them had cheap ones. And the host of it, I can't remember his name. It's his HW or GW or something like that. He I don't know if he'll see this. If he does, I apologize. I should know your name. But he called out the Shure headphones, or IEMs. He called out the Shure IEMs and said, if you're buying these, you're wasting your money. And he suggested these guys right here. These cost $50. And they're KZ, I think is the brand. KZ. Hold on a second. I got it right here. Yep, KZ KS10 Pro. I'll put a link down. I've been telling everybody about these. So the build quality is they're much heavier than the Shures, right? You don't get I had to buy this cable that it comes with one, but it's probably like this short, and I tuck it through my shirt and then kind of shove it in my back pocket, and I do that before I leave, so when I get there I can just kind of put them on, and they sound amazing right out of the gate. I noticed it immediately, and I had to turn down all my settings because I was getting a much fuller sound and no distortion. It handles bass really well. So after several years, I discovered that more drivers are better. Now, I don't know how many more drivers, because they have some that have 10, even more. These have 5. So in each ear, I'll get treble, I'll get some mid-range, and I'll get some bass, I think, based on those 5 drivers. I don't know how they split up, but it's a much fuller sound. And for probably the first time in my life of using IEMs, I don't feel like I have to pull one out so I can hear something full. I can hear it full in here, and I never really have to pull these out. An added benefit that some would call a defect, I guess, is that they're not super noise canceling. So when I have them in, I can still hear things around me, where the Shures are super noise canceling, and when you have them in, it literally blocks out everything. And I know custom are like that too, but I like the bleed from the outside things that I get in, because I want to hear that. I'm a huge fan. So I would suggest, if you have in-ears and you're struggling to hear things, and you have those Shure headphones, I'm not even going to call them cheap because they're more expensive than these. And they have another model that has 10 drivers. I think those are $100. And I haven't bought those because I tried these first, because I figured if I'm out $50, I'm out $50. But man, they're pretty outstanding. So my tip, it would be buy these, try them out. 5 drivers. If you're a guitar player, especially if you enjoy mids like I do, like you like a big mid push, you're really gonna like these. Okay, so 2 things are gonna happen. Either this is gonna be the end of the video and I'm gonna shut it off. In that case, have a nice day. Or 2, I'm gonna attempt to show you kind of how I set up my mix. I took a screenshot of it, so you can kind of see where I set my levels and what it looks like. If you're struggling with that, typically, especially at a church, if there's a silent stage, which I hate, and they you show up and you rehearse and you're gonna play, yada yada yada. You just plug in. Nobody walks you through how to set up your mix, what to do. They're like, oh, just download this app and you can set it up however you want, but no one really explains to you how that works. So I think I can bring it up on this. Give me 1 second. Continue. Allow. Okay. Perfect. All right. So here, let me leave it there. So here is my mix. Okay. So here's my overall volume over here on the left. Right. I've learned recently to set this up around unity so it's nice and loud. It's not loud enough to damage your ears, but nice and loud. And then the headphone amp, I have that volume at like, I don't know, really super low, like 9 o'clock. So not noon, but way back, like 9 o'clock. Like it's not pushing a lot because that's going to distort That'll distort your sound for sure. If you're pushing that headphone amp too much, it'll distort the sound in your ears. So you keep that low and then get your volume from here. So I set my volume there. Here's me. So I'm the highest one. I'm just under unity, which would be 0, with a good amount of gain. And then you notice everyone else is about the same level. So you get a nice fat stereo mix. Some are a little louder. Let's see who that was. Oh, that's EG2. So EG2, the other guitar player, is slightly louder than the vocalists. That's so if I'm playing softly or if I back off a little bit, I can hear him really well. But you're always going to hear the vocalists are always going to be the loudest anyway, and you'll be able to hear them, especially because they don't cancel really well. You'll be able to hear them in the auditorium. I don't have the other channels, but most everybody else is set at about that level. So here's what I know about setting a good mix. Start about 0.0 unity for your overall volume. Mute everyone else. Either drag them down to nothing or click the mute button. Get yourself set, and you're going to want to get, at least the sound guys where I am, the way I get them to understand what I want is to tell them to give me more gain, which they're just gaining the microphone. Unless you're going direct, it's different. And then gain that till I get a nice full fat sound in my ears, and then slowly bring everybody up. And then you'll start to notice like what level they need to be at. If there's too much disparity, yeah, that's right, difference between this guy, where you're at, and them, there's a problem at the soundboard. So you need to communicate, and it's probably the gain structure. It's not the overall volume, which I would consistently say my levels aren't right, meaning that the level of guitar I'm getting in my ear isn't right, where it sounds like that amp's cranked, but my guitar volume is on like 2, and no matter how hard I hit it, I can't get it to bloom. So that's the gain structure. But if I'm there, I know that I'm pretty good. If there's too much there, then I know there's a problem. And sometimes you just gotta kind of eat it and suck it up, and then other times you can work it out. Sound guys won't like this, but one thing you can do, and I have done, is I have the Boss GE7 EQ pedal, and I also have the Zio boost pedal on my board. In cases where it's not fat, I'm not getting enough fat. Usually the mids get cut is what happens, and it just sounds really kind of frail and thin. I'll just boost the mids with that EQ pedal and boost my level up where I need it to be. So I'm just giving more through the system. I don't know if that translates in the house very well, but it certainly translates to my ears, and I can play better because I have a good mix. So that was a lot of rambling. So just in summary, more drivers are better for sure, and you don't need to spend a ton on good in-ear monitors. If you're a guitar player, I would go for 5, maybe 10, but I would go for like at least 5. 3 might work. I know some people have 3 might work, but 5 sounds really, really good to my ears. It's like a good fat stereo mix, and you can hear all the small things that you're going to do on guitar. You can hear all the dynamics. They come through really well, and you can play softer, and you'll be able to hear it nice and clear. So that, and then learn how to mix. One way to do that is GarageBand, any DAW, GarageBand, Logic, Pro Tools, if you like pain. I hate Pro Tools. Learn how to mix there, so you know what feels right. Like mic your amp up, record playing over a track. It's better to have multiple instruments in there. So maybe a guitar track, a bass track, throw the drummer in there, and maybe some keys, and then try to get a really good sounding mix on that, and then see what the levels do, and play with the EQ like, cut the highs, cut the lows, boost and then get the EQ, and that'll help you when you go to dial in your mix. You might have EQ settings. Some of them do. Ours don't. I don't have EQ settings on that, but I know how to craft my tone to make it poke through. That'll also, if you're getting lost in a mix, playing around with mixing in a DAW will help you learn what frequencies to use, and then you can use the EQ pedal to kind of boost or cut frequencies as you need. Oh, Joe Bonamassa suggests, gosh, I forget how, like 30 band EQ, and to know what every frequency does, push it all the way up, push it all the way down, to understand what they all do, so that you know when you need something, which frequency you have to use to get it. That's a good tip too. It's a work in progress, but I guess that's everything I've learned about silent stages, setting my own personal mix, and using IEMs thus far. Hopefully that helps. Have a great day.